Ahem. Good afternoon. My name is Joshua Dennis of JDAgileárt, or this channel, and I'm an animator. I like making stories, worlds, and characters alike, and sharing it with other people where I can. In this series, I'm going to be sharing stuff that I've learned along the way, making my own animations and other tips and tricks that people might or might not find helpful. And if you do find these tips helpful, consider watching some of the things I've made and potentially subscribing. This is sharing stuff I've learned. So to start off this series, I'll begin by main character design. For starters, Happy Wednesday! That's a 1, followed by 2 more 1s to make 111. Editor's note, I am uploading this video as of January 14th and not January 11th like I initially planned. So this commentary kinda goes out the window, but Happy Wednesday nonetheless. Yes, we'll be talking about the main character of the Story of One's Jackson Skinks. So years ago, I made an animated series that was entitled The Story of Ones, about a sports-centric world inhabited by mascots, where a skink lizard mascot wants to become a basketball champion of the league that is the Traveling Court of Glory, to follow the footsteps of his uncle and amidst various obstacles. In this video, I'll be showing how I came up with the 2D design for Jackson 1's Skinks. Now, when it comes to 2D character design, there are 3 areas that I have found to be important: concept, shape language, and perspective. So let's start with that first one, concept. In order to really figure out what you want your main character to be, what you want your central character to be, you want to figure out what your story is going to be about. And for me, I knew it was going to be a mascot of some kind. I also wanted him to stand out from the other cast members in the series, as well as some of the extras in the background. So I figured the best way to do that, or at least from my research, from what I figured, was to pick an obscure animal, because most mascots are common animals, right? Like a rabbit or a lion, or even common objects like a sun, Phoenix Suns, right? Those type of things. So what I decided to do was think abstract and begin with the concept of the skink lizard. And specifically, I really liked the look of the blue-tailed skink. So that's what I based my character on, the concept. And note, this is another extra tip. I typically, when I design my characters, I don't go without drawing the real thing first a few times before I actually put into practice how to stylize it or how to interpret it a different way. So there's the concept. Next is point number 2, shape language. And I like to think of this in 2 different branches: silhouette and composition. So when it comes to the silhouette of a character, you want your character to, say, if there's a dark room or just is pitch black, you still want the character's shadow to be completely recognizable, to stand out amongst the crowd. So that was what I did. I designed several different skink lizard characters and extras, but I wanted to make Jackson Skinks a little bit special in how he was a little bit conveyed. And to do that, I actually looked at the logo that I designed for this series as well, the Story of Ones. I decided to take the silhouette idea and apply the logo silhouette to the character design. If you notice in certain poses that Jackson 1 Skinks has, where he's kind of in a neutral pose or he's standing, he looks like a 1. And if he has a certain action pose about him, he's shaped like an S. Or his tail in the back is shaped like an S, while he standing in the front looks like a 1. A prime example of that silhouette idea. Looks just like the logo. Subconscious shape language stuck in your head. All right, next is shape composition. So when I design a character, I looked into several different books all about different character designs and different shape languages. And some of the key things that I found are specifically with circles, squares, and triangles. With circles tend to be associated with more rounded, cuter characters. Squares tend to be associated with more tougher, rugged characters. And triangles are typically more associated with action, edgy, action-oriented characters. And so I decided to take a little bit of a mix of the first and the last, but mainly the last for this character because I just love drawing him in different action poses and everything. So yeah, I decided to make this character feel very action-oriented and also keep in mind the smaller aesthetic because he is a mascot. He is supposed to be appealing in design. He's supposed to be, for lack of a better term, simple too. All right. So we talked about shape language. Next is perspective. And perspective can be broken down into 3 different cores as opposed to shape language, which was broken down into 2. Perspective can be broken down to 3D model or 3D modeling of some kind, design sheet, and action. So with that first one, 3D model, you're thinking, this is 2D character design. So why do we want to make a 3D model? Well, you're going to be drawing this character a lot in different perspectives, hypothetically. So you would want to make sure that you understand how your character looks in multiple different perspectives and angles. And I know for me, I typically, what I like to do now at least, is I like to make 3D models of all of my characters, as you've likely seen too on my website if you check that out. And what I do is I see the different angles, see what he might look like in this angle or whatever. And also too, if I could help it, I go through different iterations of the design. We can see this is the early 2019 version of, 2020 version of this character. It's a little bit more boxy. But either way, it was coming along. And then I came up with this character a little bit. You get the shape language there. Cute, mascotable, big, rounded shoes, but at the same time, the triangular, edgy, like action-oriented character that you see here. And the aesthetic looks a little bit smoother. But the point is, I could see this character in every angle with an action pose and then draw something based on that. Here is the final outcome, the most recent model that I made, the 2025 version, and actually copies of this are available on my website if you are interested. Shameless plug here. So, anyways, 3D models aren't necessary for designing a 2D character, but they do help tremendously if you are going to be drawing this character over and over and over again, or if you want to do flash animation, if you want to break them down into certain layers, you want to know which ones to show and which ones to hide and which ones to alter. A 3D model definitely helps with that. Our next branch, design sheets. With that in mind, with the character, you see the different perspectives that it comes from. So if you were to hand this off to a team, which unfortunately I did not have the luxury of having, you would come up with a design sheet, coming up with them in different angles, how they would look in the side, how they would look in a profile view, how they would look in the front, and probably the most important, but the one that gets neglected the most, how they would look in the back. Now, for this design sheet, I did temporarily take out the arms so that I could see what the body would look like and what it would be made up of, as well as right here on the side profile. I took out the arms temporarily just to see what I would do with this character and his design. And yeah, that is pretty much all set. You want to have all of your perspectives that you're going to be highlighting laid out. And if you were doing a flash style animation, you would also likely want to make vector images of each of those perspectives. Design sheet, done. Now for the action. This is where it gets exciting. This is my favorite part of animating the story of ones, where I loved drawing these characters in different action poses, loved drawing them in different scenarios, loved Jackson just shoving a dunk in on his opponents. It was just so fun. I loved it. And that is kind of important. You got to, basically with all of it, you got to design something that you love to draw, because you are going to be drawing a heck of a lot of it. So I have this right here. This is the final assist and the game against the Toy Box Takeover team. This was the original version of it. It looks a little bit different in the final, but there's also this key pose right here. This was featured in the game against the Bricks. So many. All right, let's see. We have this. That actually leads right into that. The point is, I drew them separately. Those were my keyframes, and then I animated them. But anyways, all of this to really show that 2D character design. It all begins with a pen and paper. Or yeah, pencil and paper. As it did for me. I really love drawing this character over and over and over again. I love drawing parts of the world over and over and over again, and it was fun to finally be able to put it all together. So that's the key. To review, 3 areas that are important when it comes to 2D character design. 1, concept. Know your story. Know how your main character stands out amongst the rest of the characters in your story. Shape language. Silhouette composition. Make sure that your character is identifiable in silhouette form with 0 lighting, where it's completely black and white. And composition. Make sure that your shape language conveys how your character moves and how your character acts and the type of character he is. And then perspective. 3D model, not necessary, but it always helps to see your character in different perspectives if you want to be able to do that, which will actually be the next video that I make, is how to make a 3D model of a character. And then design sheet. Make sure that you draw your character in different perspectives, front, side, profile, back. Most important, often gets overlooked. And action. Drawing your character moving, drawing your character in different poses. That is so key to a 2D animation, is you want your character to be doing different things. You want to draw your character doing different things. It could be something as simple as your character getting groceries or eggs from the store. And remember, whatever you make, be sure to love it. Be sure to love whatever you're drawing, because you are going to be drawing it over and over and over again. I know that was the same with me. So those are all the tips and tricks that I have to share right now when it comes to 2D character design. And really, all I'm doing is just making it up as I go. This is stuff I've learned.